Get out of the way. Yes, it's so. Did that mean you wanted to go first, Jen? How did your first week go?
I feel like it went well. I mean, okay, so I got my workouts in. Wednesday, I did a light stretch. I realized that, my body just needed to recover and rest. And I had, planned to do yoga. And then I thought, you know what? Nope, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to do a light stretch. So my workouts went really well. I think the only thing, my eating's been really good. It was just hard to get all my calories in.
Yes.
That was the only challenge for me. So I went Monday and Tuesday, we had, foggy day schedule for school. So I was home. I was able to get my calories in then, but at Wednesday we went back to school and back in my routine. And that's when I really, discovered, okay, like, I'm not eating as much throughout the day. I'm only eating on, my breaks, like lunch. That's about the only break I have. So, I had to really come up with more of my calories at night just to catch up. But other than that, I mean, it's great. I feel like I have a lot of energy. I'm sleeping well. I feel like the workouts are helping me get through my workout. I mean, the meals are helping me get through my workouts. Yeah. So, I mean, I think the only challenge is just getting the food in when I'm working back at the routine. So that's, other than that, I feel really good though.
Yeah. Shauna brought this up when we were training. She said, hey, what about, like if I'm not able to get breakfast in or all of breakfast? And I said, that's fine. The most important thing is just working on getting the food stuff in and creating that habit. And if it's later in the day, that's fine. This stuff works. When Jen got really lean doing this, when she dropped about 25 pounds, she wasn't perfect with her calories, like early in the day or everything they say. She just was really working the whole time to get it in. So, and then another thing, Shelly, I want to share with you too, is that after about a week of the meal plans, you start to notice like some stuff. You're like, okay, this turkey chili, like I'm a little bit tired of it. So if you can go another week, that's fine. If you find a favorite, that's fine. But that macros that I shared is so cool because you can actually take a recipe of your own and you can break it down. And then you're able to drop those things in that. And I really like that tracking capability of that app macros. Now, I think you said to me, MyFitnessPal, and that's a really good one too. So whatever you're using that works for you, I think it's good. You've got a general caloric idea of what you want to do. My thoughts on it is at least keep your calories 30% protein. So as you go through a process, if you're losing weight, if that's something that you want to do, you want to keep as much muscle as possible. And if even or make muscle, because that's the thing that keeps that, it keeps your metabolism high, because you don't want to lose that burning capability. You really want to be this fiery burner as you do it.
Right. Now I've been using MyFitnessPal. I've been using it for years actually. And so I watch on that because I don't have a whole bunch like already prepped because I don't like leftovers. And just depends on how my day goes. But I've done really well at just not, when it's late at night and I'm still in Tulare doing baseball stuff, to not just say, screw this, I'm going to go eat right here. Or I've looked, so like last night I was in Visalia and it was 8:30 at night and I was getting really hungry. But El Pollo Loco, and I can log their actual menu on the MyFitnessPal and see where it fits and everything. But their double protein salad fits really well as long as you don't throw the dressing on there. And so I manage my calories and my macros that way, just because sometimes it's busy. Like my strength training the other night was shoveling leaves at the ballpark into the dumpster for an hour and a half. Like all wet leaves that are left out in the parking lot that we thought the VAC program was going to help us with, that they said, no, use your dumpster. So that was what I did for my strength training the other night, was fill up trash cans and throw them in the dumpster.
Good.
And then, did a little cardio jumping in and out of the dumpster to pack it down a little more so I could get more in there.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's
I love
my
that.
fun.
I love it. I love it. Well, yeah, it should be fun, right? Like, I think that's the thing that we're talking about. And maybe you might have been drawn to with this thing is that it should get back to like it was when we were kids. You didn't think about working out and you worked your butt off, And so why not take advantage of those things?
Right.
Fun.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Just, sometimes, what gets me honestly is the stress here at work. Sometimes it's just so frustrating that I'm just like, give me candy, give me comfort food, give me candy, give me sodas, and let me just sit for just a minute and enjoy that. But
Yeah.
the other day I logged my candy into my fitness pal and ate based around that just so I could have that break without killing anyone here.
Are you in the office by yourself?
I am. They just went to lunch.
Good.
And I haven't gone to lunch. So we're in Pixley. There's not a lot of choices here. And so the other two ladies in here go out to lunch every day. They go eat at a restaurant, and I used to, but a couple years ago I stopped when I went through my whole weight loss program, and I still get crap on a daily basis for not going out to lunch with them.
Really? After that much time?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm.
Well, I went to Stanford and did their weight loss program in 2019. So since 2019, I get crap on a daily basis for not going out to lunch with them.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what's interesting? I sat down week before when we were doing the testing phase of it, like just where are we going? What are we doing? And somebody brought me into a restaurant. It was a group meeting too. And I was like, oh, this is happening, And so everybody's going to order. And I thought, okay, well, maybe I can get something that I can log that I want to. And I couldn't find anything that fit, how many ounces of cheese and this or that or whatever. And I was like, no, I'm good.
Right.
Yeah. And then one of the guys across the table said something about like, gosh, hey, whatever this and that and whatever. And I said, you know what? Your happiness is not my responsibility. And I didn't mean it negatively, but I meant it just very matter of fact. Like if it frustrates you that I'm sitting across the table drinking an iced tea, that's on you, because I'm good. And I know that can be really harsh, and it's other people have service kind of ways that they have to do the meals and stuff, and they've got to find their way about that. But that's something I think that we have to take on as ourselves. That's so true. We don't realize like we're in that people pleasing kind of way, and we've been brought up that way. But the truth is that we don't need to do that. That person should be fine in that setting. And if they are fine and they really accept you for you as you, then they would accept that. And if they're not, then that's fine too.
Right. And I work in an office right behind my house, so I can walk home every day and cook my own food.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm right there. But that's the other thing is if I'm not going to lunch with them, I shouldn't get a lunch. Is their mentality.
Yeah. Yeah. I want you to hold on to something too, because what I'm about to show you, I just a thought that you had and you shared about the candy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a situation that I'm going to show you today about how to think to change it. It's just a really good one. So I just want you to kind of hold on to that and see if it applies to what we say. Okay. I had a hell of a week. I really did. And it's work on my side to think the positive, because I can come down on myself just like anybody else. The coaching and stuff that I share, it's not because I'm amazing at it, it's because I need it so much. And that's why I love it. And so as I said, why is this good? That's a question we should ask ourselves, especially when things go off the rails. Like, why is this good? Because we're going to seek the good in that thing. It was that thing. It's like, okay, here's another opportunity, Matt, for you to see, are you going to come down on yourself or not? Here's another opportunity for you to just check yourself and become aware. There was something else that I was going to share there, and I'm kind of going in and out in my mind. So then by opening up that door there of like, well, what's good there? It flashed back to me very quickly that some of my not so good starts in my life, or even something that I can call some of my poorest starts, have, as long as I stuck it out, have ended in my best finishes. So then I got excited again about like, oh man, like that's really good. So whatever you're seeking, it says that seek and ye shall find. Be aware of that. If we're finding that stuff that we're looking for the negative and why we're not doing good or why it's not going to work, we're going to find that too. We're going to get emotionally involved in one of those things, either one that's serving the direction we're going or one that's serving the direction where we've been and where we don't want to be anymore. I consider it a win, but yesterday was a very tough day of eating for me. And then the day before too, not enough calories, such a learning process from not enough calories, not enough food stuff, you call it, early in the day, because you get that overwhelming sense, as you said, Shelly, at like 8:30. That's when it's like the plug gets pulled with your survival mechanism and it says, eat a lot. And that really needed to be solved earlier in the day. And I was just in a situation, not to make excuses or anything, but I was in a situation where I couldn't. I lost a buddy, and it was all about, being a part of his services, laying him to rest and all those things. It's really interesting that, it would just happen on the first week, but I don't think it's going to hold me back one bit. I think it's that perfect little start to the end of the 6 weeks being amazing. So with that being said, anybody else want to share anything?
I'll share. Do you want me to share?
You go, girl. I love when you share.
Forgetting me.
I'm not forgetting you.
To me, I started using the macros app, Eric and I both, and I can feel myself almost getting obsessed with it. You know what I mean? Like making sure everything's in there and then checking the numbers at night. And also, like Jen, I feel like it's almost hard to get some of the food in, it's a lot of calories for me. I feel like I kind of just bird pick all day. So this is more of getting that protein in.
Yes.
And it makes me feel full, I'm
Yes.
like, oh my God, I feel like I'm gaining weight. What the hell,
Yeah.
And it's crazy. I missed training today, but I did do some cardio. So we're sticking to where our, what we, said we were going to do. But, God, I feel like, God, honestly, I feel like I'm going to gain weight doing this. It's so much food for me to get in. Eric's doing better than me, but we're hitting our numbers and stuff. But it was rough for me this week. I'm in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I'm doing this challenge and I should really, be restricting what I'm eating. And to me, I feel like I'm kind of bulking on a little bit, and I know I'm trusting the process, it's going to work out. But yeah, it felt a struggle to get some of the food in at times. And at 8:30, instead of candy, I want a glass of wine. And I'm like, and I love creamer and these type of things that make me feel good, so we're breaking up with some of those things this week. It's been rough, but I think it's cool. I love the app. I love some of the recipes that we've tried. But yeah, we struggled a bit to get to Friday, but we made it.
Good. I'm
Good.
glad you bring that up, because Friday, I think for people running Monday through Friday schedules, I think Friday is your best day for weigh-in. If you're going to do some kind of weigh-in, and it's first thing in the morning, your water levels are going to be about the same. You'd be a little
Right.
dehydrated, but about the same dehydration at that point. So Friday morning is your best time if you're going to do a weigh-in, and then just leave it alone. But you're going to get a lot of feedback in terms of like, hey, am I bulking like what I feel or not, like right in that moment? And then you'll know, like, okay, well, if you're up a pound, depending on a woman too, like a women will fluctuate a certain time in the month when they'll actually hold on, more water. But if you're in a regular spot there, and if you gain that pound, then good, back it off by another 200 calories for next week.
Right.
You're going to
I
get the
think
best
I am.
feedback right there.
Yeah, definitely. I love that you can adjust it to you, you know what I mean? But I think Eric's at a perfect spot, and I think I'm going to go a little bit less. So
Do you
I'm
mind
gonna
me
try it.
asking you what calories it said for you?
I think it fed me like 14, and I think I'm hitting 12, and I feel like that's crazy to me
You're-
because
yeah,
although I'm
you're-
probably not regularly eating right, I eat way less, you know?
Mhm,
And so now the numbers are messing with me. You know what I mean? Now I'm like, what? What's going on? And I haven't been real hard on myself, but it is kind of a numbers game, you know?
yeah. And I want you to know too, like when I have like half a tomato or something that I'm throwing into something, like I won't enter that. It's not enough to matter, or like a
Okay.
handful of spinach. I won't enter that
Right.
too, because you'd kind of hit on that, like, oh, okay, I'm really putting everything in and stuff, and that's cool. If you want to do it from that point of view, you can too. But I don't really bother with those things because they don't matter
Okay.
as much. The things that really matter is again, getting the protein high really matters too, because how many stinking egg
Yes.
whites can you eat before you're completely stuffed? And then you see like versus how much like sweet rice or cereal a person can eat. You can eat
Right.
just tons and tons and tons of that. So it really gives you that perspective of like, this is why the protein matters so much.
Yes.
I've always
Right.
got to get that protein in. Well, I think that was about it with that, but I'm glad to hear that. And I think your caloric level with what you shared with me is going to be right on the money. It's just feeling like a lot because you're choosing good food sources, is what it sounds like.
Maybe. Yeah. And
Right.
it does, it's filling, you know, I
Mhm.
feel full. I feel really good actually, but I just feel like it's a lot.
Mhm. You're
Yeah,
not
I
used to
remember
that.
feeling that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not
Yes,
used to
I'm
that.
not. Yeah, I'm not used to that. So whether I was picking the wrong foods or not, I still was only eating a tiny bit of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, totally.
How much
Yep.
do the girlfriends want to beat you up when you're getting leaner and leaner and leaner and you're like, oh, I'm always so stuffed?
That's my goal. That's all I want.
Or how do you eat so much?
Right?
Right? Yeah, and stay so lean.
Of
Jen was
course.
Jen was going about 1800 calories. And I think she
Yeah.
was training about 4 times per week back then.
Yeah,
Right.
I was training about 4 to 5 days a week. Yeah, I was closer to 1800 calories. This time I'm eating close to 1700 calories.
No, it's hard.
And I plugged in that I was high. So I'm using the same macros app that you're using.
Okay.
And so I put high activity level because I usually work out at least 4 days a week.
Right.
And it had me at, close to 1700.
Okay.
And so, yeah, like right now, a few days I was able to hit it, but there's been a few days where it's been like difficult, like where it's, 7:30 p.m. And I'm like, great, I still have 400 more calories to go.
Exactly. Right.
Right. But then I'm thinking, okay, at this point, if I'm going to go for it, I'm just going to make like a protein shake. And so,
Yeah.
Most
I threw-
importantly, at that moment,
yeah,
I believe is getting that protein in. So
It's
if you're
the
going to miss it,
protein.
miss it on your fat and carbs, but make sure you got that protein in.
but I
Okay.
threw everything in. I mean, I threw my protein, I threw oatmeal in there, some peanut butter, a cinnamon. Oh gosh, what else? I'm like thinking,
Banana.
no, I didn't throw a banana. I threw in some maple syrup, organic maple syrup, the pure. And I was able to like get close to my 1700 with that. So,
Okay.
and
I've-
it was filling, it was enough for me to say, okay, you know what? I'm not going to sit down and have a meal right now. I can't have another
Yeah.
bowl of, turkey chili. So I'm just going to make a quick protein shake.
Yeah.
And it got me through and I went to bed feeling good and
Good.
full. So then I was like, okay. So I think if anything, if it comes down to that, just throw in a protein shake and
Something. Get the protein
Yeah.
in.
yeah,
Absolutely. It's
Trusting it.
most important.
Yeah.
Trust the process.
yeah.
I
Uh,
am.
Yeah, good job, man. I really appreciate that. I know you all are leaning on me, and I hope it gives you guys some kind of feeling of relief to know that your trainer really botched it up on a couple days this week too. It's going to happen for us. We've got to be able to respond to that. And so I probably did the worst this week out of all of you. But I'm coming back with a vengeance. I know it. I'm stoked about it. So, that's it. I want to run you guys through something we call the knowing doing gap, because we know a lot more than what we actually do, but we don't know what actually causes that. It's a big thing in training, mindset coaching. It's a big thing in what it is that we're wanting to accomplish here. We actually know how to do better, but we don't do it because we don't know what actually causes us to do the things that we do. And before I do that, I want to offer up the word of the day for the people that are going to watch this on record. And the word of the day is pesky. pesky paradigm. Paradigm is a multitude of habits that's built down into our subconscious mind. It actually controls everything that we're doing. It's the programming you have built into your habits that's responsible for the results you get in your life. And most people aren't aware of it because it's not words, it's actually a feeling. But we have the ability to change that. And that's what I'm going to share with you right now. We're going to walk through the knowing doing gap and how to do the thing, Shelly, you had talked about with the candy. You might run this through there too, or anything else that you're feeling. Like even if you said, hey, the coworkers are driving me nuts, you can actually do that in this thing. My wife can say, my husband's driving me nuts. She could use this process. All right. So there's a huge difference between what you know and what you do. That's why we call it the knowing doing gap. We actually walk around with more education, more books in our head than, like 100 years ago. They weren't even close to what we have in our heads. And we have access to so much more information too, through the web and everything else. We know that it's there, but we don't actually do the things that we know how to do. And that's the big thing that we're trying to solve here. With exercise, it's like, okay, well, maybe I didn't get enough exercise sessions in, or maybe I didn't go to the grocery store to get my food, or I didn't prepare my food, or whatever. Those are the things that you want to look at. If I went off the rails and I ate, my big thing is I would wake up in the middle of the night, almost like a zombie in a real kind of not really coherent state. And I will eat. I'm a night eater. And so that's something that you have to look at from here, like, why am I doing that? And how do I change that stuff? The knowing doing gap. I know how not to eat in the night. I know how to eat better food, or I know how to go to the grocery store. I know that. Why didn't I? Persistence is the key with this. Napoleon Hill said there may be no heroic connotation to the word persistence, but the quality is to the character of man and woman. What carbon is to steel. We've got to just keep going. Just because you're not doing it right the first time or the second time, that's not how you learn to walk in the world. I mean, man, how many times did it take for you to learn to walk? So this is the same thing, and give yourself that grace and that love. Just keep doing it until you finally get it right. That's why baseball, we practice over and over again. Martial arts, I mean, they practice the same stuff over and over and over again, because it's being built down into us, into a more important part. But the purpose of this lesson is to help you to become aware of what you already know how to do to reach your goals and what you're doing instead. And a big part of that is going to be what you're thinking. Then begin to take the action that moves you to your goal. So what you're going to learn in this lesson is, if you want to make permanent changes in your life, this is the lesson that really helps people do it. In the main coaching that I do, this is one of the #1 lessons that we teach, besides the one that helps people deal with anxiety, fear, doubt, and worry. So you're going to learn how to turn a negative behavior into a positive behavior. And it's a repeatable process to change any habit. It's a strategy to convert negative habits into positive results. Just for the sake of what we teach here, all you need to know is your conscious mind and subconscious mind. We don't teach the mind from 10 different ways. We teach the mind very simply: conscious mind and subconscious mind. Now, conscious mind is where you and I are communicating. That's where we see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. Our senses are hooked up there. Memory, reason, intuition, perception, will, imagination, they're all there too. But subconscious, that's just, so this is the thing, what we're talking about. Conscious is what you know, but subconscious is what you do. So changing habits, you agree, it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable because of what programming you have in your subconscious. It's all locked up in there in terms of this is who you think you are. And now you're starting to act differently. You get that weird feeling from that. That's from subconscious, but that's what we've got to program, that this is normal. And this is the way that we're going to do it. Understand that there's a huge difference between what you know and what you do, but understand that this is hopeful. Bob Proctor, in the coaching that he takes us through and that I'm taught, in 60 years of doing this with people, it's so rare, he said, only on a few occasions has it been that somebody actually needed to learn something more in order to get what they wanted. So that's the hopeful part of it. You don't need to learn more. You actually need to know how to do it. What we really need to learn is how we actually function. So our conscious mind is connected to the world around us through our senses, as I had said, but the subconscious mind is the part of the mind that expresses whatever is impressed upon it. Now, what does that mean, impressed upon it? Well, the moment you feel something, you can have any thought that you want, but if you don't get emotionally involved in that thought, then you're not impressing the subconscious. And the subconscious, when you go into the feeling side of it, is what actually makes you do this. An example in training, when I tell people is that you got to get up in the morning and work out, or maybe it's an evening workout, it doesn't matter. But when you say, well, that workout's not going to go so good, or I'm kind of tired, or I've got something to do later in the day, the moment you feel that thought, you get a vibration that moves you away from the thing that you want to do. That's the big key with it. And you can have any thought that you want, you know that. You can have any thought that you want. Nothing can make you think something you don't want to think. So you can choose your thoughts, and you can choose which thoughts you want to get emotionally involved with. And a quick flip for that is, if you're doing that workout, it's morning or evening or whatever it is to recognize that you're having that feeling. Same thing with the grocery shopping, same thing with the cooking, is to recognize that feeling that you don't want to do it, and then trace it out to the thought that you're having. And then you can have a different thought. A very simple thought for a workout is what does it feel like to go to bed tonight knowing that I didn't work out? Oh, that feels yucky. What does it feel like to go to bed tonight knowing that I did work out? Okay, that feels good. You don't have to ace your workout and be 100% effective in every single workout. What you need is consistent workouts, consistent times laying your head on the pillow at night knowing that you worked out, that good feeling. So that's what I'm talking about here, and changing this stuff. And again, as you can say, for the purpose of this lesson, but really for the purpose of life, subconscious, you're feeling everything that you're doing because you're feeling a particular thing and it's guiding you. We kind of fool ourselves to think that I'm consciously choosing to do something. You're not. You're feeling something, you're getting emotionally involved with it, and then you move toward it. So remember this, that a habit is an idea that's fixed in a person's subconscious mind. It causes them to do something without any conscious thought. And that's not just doing physically things, it'll cause you to think something. If you think that you're not a fit person, or this doesn't work for me, you'll just automatically accept particular thoughts. But it's all based on habit. Scientifically, we've been shown that we actually operate out of habit 96 to 98% of our day. And remember that thing's causing us to do something without any conscious thought. So the first thing that we've got to do is just insert that awareness there. What is this? I'm doing it. I just caught myself doing it. Like, that's the biggest thing, because otherwise, running on habit, you're not even going to recognize that you're doing it. And those habits are programmed in, they're hardwired in. And that's why we just keep getting the same results over and over and over and over again, because people don't understand this. There's a moment of awareness that has to happen right there. And we have to recognize what we're thinking and what we're feeling. Your paradigm lives at your subconscious. It's what we call, it's a multitude of habits. It's all that habitual programming from the time you entered this world. It's all in that paradigm, and it's dictating the results that you're getting. But what I'm sharing you here, now you have the ability to change your own paradigm. If you haven't known about this, you haven't programmed your own paradigm up to here. The world has programmed it for you, and everybody around you programmed it for you. But now you understand, I can change this. So at times we do things we don't want to do, and we get results we don't want, but we do it anyways. This is because of the paradigm in the subconscious mind that controls our actions and behaviors. Now, a common error with this, trying to make change, is changing our results by changing behavior only. When this happens, the change is generally temporary. And if you've experienced that, I've experienced that, we've all experienced that. Why doesn't it work? Well, because paradigms are tricky. They will talk you out of doing the very thing that you want to do as you're doing it. So don't wait to have that conversation with your paradigm, as you're going to go do it. Then, okay, all of a sudden you're going to have the conversation, because you're going to lose. Your paradigm is stronger than that. And this is about visualization and seeing yourself in the healthy, fit body that you really want, achieving all the results that you want. Like seeing yourself at the end of the 6 weeks and really feeling amazing results is the conversation you want to have with your paradigm right now. That's going to help you, versus if you don't spend any time that way and then you go out to take the action, your paradigm will defeat you. That's how strong it is. It's part of your survival mechanism. As far as your subconscious knows, all it knows is that, hey, you're changing things drastically, and that doesn't work for us. Like, I want to keep you safe, and this is what we know. It doesn't know if something's good or bad. It just says, this is us. So that's the key with this stuff. That's why visualization is so important. Every day, visualize yourself being very successful in this challenge, how happy you are at the end. And again, persistence is the key. Give yourself grace. If you fall off, don't beat yourself up, because that's coming from your paradigm. Am I somebody that beats myself up, or do I give myself grace, get back on the horse, and then start thinking positively about this? I said that. Some of my greatest finishes come from my worst starts, but I had to work to find that. Most of my paradigm before was I beat myself up very, very much. I'm over it. It's not worth my time. Everything you want is on the other side of this new behavior that you're creating. So behavior being the common mistake. Don't just work at the behavior level. Most common mistake is for people to operate only at that level. Behavior is the result, is the reason for your result. It's the cause for the results, but you've got to go deeper. Now that you're getting this understanding right here, what's causing your behavior? And it's belief, it's habits, it's reprogramming the subconscious along the way. It's that paradigm that's causing that. So I hope what I'm getting here to you is that we're going to insert that awareness when you're about to do something that's not there. Ask yourself this question: what's the behavior that will move you toward your goal that keeps showing up for you? Like if you've thought about it, but maybe you didn't do it. So become aware of it right now, and then kind of become aware of what are you doing instead. You know, when you're about to change habits, things that you don't really want to do, but you know how to do really well, like sweep the floor. Jen had a great idea the other day. She wanted to move forward toward her goal in a big, big way. And she was really inspired. And like 2 minutes later, I came in the house, I saw what she was doing. She was vacuuming, because she knows how to vacuum, you know? And that's kind of the big key, is that thing shows up because you know how to do that. But that thing that you know how to do is going to get you the same old results. We've really got it. She's laughing here at this. It's so true. She knows that because she was there. What's the behavior that's showing up instead? What are you doing instead? Turn the TV off. If we're turning the TV on at a particular time at night, you know, like that can be really weird just to have it turned off and, oh, I'm going to go do a 10-minute workout or a 15-minute workout. It's just a change of habit. It feels weird. So this is the key behind this. Shelly, this is, I'm thinking about you as I share this right now. You can write out a situation that's not going the way that you want. And we talked about the candy. It may or may not be something. You can log the candy if you want, but I'm just picking at it, and I'm picking at you because you shared it. It's something that you can do. Write the situation out exactly as it is, even though it's going the way that you don't want, and get the detail out in it. Like, what are you feeling? That's a big key of that. Like, write all the details of that moment out as best as you can recall it. And then you take that same situation and you're going to write it again. Only the second time you write it out exactly the way that you want it to be.
Okay.
Exactly the way that you want it to be. And again, this is for all of us, but it's just something to take in. It's like, now I'm not talking about what you think you can get to, like write that situation out exactly the way that you want it to be. And then go back and identify your actions. And if you remember, our actions are dictated by our programming. So we're really revealing a lot of stuff right here as we do that. You want to underline your actions. In both stories, underline your actions, and then go back and label them. And we're going to label them PAs and NPAs. And PAs are productive actions. They're moving you toward what you want. So you don't need to mess with those. They're fine. That's great. Give yourself a pat on the back. Like, that's working for you. But the non-productive actions, you want to take a look at those. And you want to look at each non-productive action. If it's a non-productive thought or something that you're actually doing, you know, if you're getting in a particular situation, too hungry at this time or whatever, you know, waited too long or whatever your thing might be, change those non-productive actions for something productive that you can do. You can do the old George Costanza. You can do 180 degrees different if you want, or you can just fill it in with something that's on your heart that this would serve me at this time. And when you're done changing all of your non-productive actions to productive actions, answer this question. If I turned all my non-productive actions into productive actions, would I get the results that I want? Just really feel that. And as you feel that, I think you're going to find that your answer is yes. So it motivates you to say, I'm going to do that. It makes you aware of when a non-productive action or a feeling is coming about, and you have the ability now to change that. But why do we do this stuff over and over and over again? because that's how we learn. That's how you learned how to say your name. That's how you learned how to walk. That's how you learned everything that you do. That's why we have constant spaced repetition. And that's why it says give yourself grace. It doesn't matter. When you were little, you didn't chastise yourself for falling down several times for walking and saying, oh, I'm not good enough, or this isn't going to work for me, because you didn't know how to do that. And you've got to get back to that space right now too, as many times as it takes. Do it again and again and again, and do it with grace and love for yourself. Don't beat yourself up. It's just not worth our time. So what should I do? Decide that you're going to do your new behavior. And by the way, do you want to screenshot? If you want to screenshot that, because it's a very simple process for changing anything that you want to do. It's the knowing doing gap in a nutshell, like how to do it. Write the situation as it is, write it as you want it to be, underline all your actions, label them productive or non-productive, and then change your non-productive actions for productive actions and answer that question from your heart. If I change those actions to productive actions, would I get the results that I want? It's going to motivate you. So decide you're going to do your new behavior. Decide means that you're cutting off from old behavior. It doesn't mean like maybe I might do it. Decide means you're literally cutting off and you're not going to do that anymore. So every time you become aware of yourself doing the old stuff, just let it go and just keep switching it over and over and over again. And know that this behavior will get you the results that you desire. Surrender to the process. Just set it down, because as you do this, it's only a matter of time. We are learning programmable machines. And as long as you continue to do this over and over again, you're going to get it. Tracking your macros, as we are talking about, and doing those things, that's fine. We can do that. But the goal is to get into the process where this is natural and normal for you. So you don't have to do that anymore. So you can go sit down in any situation and you know your food. You just eat your food throughout the day. That's the end goal. That's why you're doing it. And that's why we surrender to the process if you do it over and over and over again. Hold the image of the reward for making your new behavior a habit. Couple quotes to motivate you guys here. Get quiet, be still, and hold a clear image. Just keep working on that image, that clear image of your goal already achieved, and then follow your heart. Your heart is feeling. It's going to guide you there. If you're spending your time feeling what it's like to have these results already, that stuff gets programmed into you, and you're going to receive inspired intuition. You're going to feel all those things. You're going to receive life in a new way. That's your heart guiding you. As long as you spend your time feeling that goal beforehand, your heart will guide you there. Oh, Morpheus. There's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. And that's what we're inserting here. Just awareness. That's all. Become aware of what you're doing. That is the knowing doing gap, the way to change any behavior that's causing you guys results that you don't want. How to put stuff in there that you already know how to do. Any questions? Anything that you want to share beyond that? Did it make sense?
Yes.
Good.
Yep, it makes sense.
I'm glad to hear that. I've studied it for quite a while. Is it kind of interesting to you to hear that?
Yes.
Yeah. We think that we're consciously telling ourselves to do something. Like that's how we actually think, but we're not. We do the stuff that we do because we feel something. But when we can become aware about that feeling, we can change that. So the way that it works is our thoughts become the feelings. And we can choose any thought that we want. So we're just having a particular thought because it's habitual for us. And it's time just to change that and change it for that new thought. You guys are going to walk out of this challenge amazed at the results that you get. Phenomenal results. Shauna's going to be able to walk around and say, I'm stuffed and I'm so lean.
I want to forever say I'm stuffed.
You are. So that's it. That's the way it's going to go down. You're already doing it right now. You're hanging out with us.
I'm trying my best.
We can't stop you. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for jumping on here and sharing. I hope that you see what a wonderful family we are and that we're just supportive. The only thing that I want is for everybody to understand who they really are and what they can really achieve in this world this way, to understand your mind, to get all the results that you want, because nothing makes me happier than that, is to bump into somebody maybe haven't seen them for 3 months or 6 months, and they're doing amazing because of some kind of information that we've gathered here with what we share. That's what means the world to me. That's all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great Friday lunch, rest of your lunch, and I'll see you next week.
All right. See ya.
Thanks, Matt. Bye,
Thank you.
guys.
Bye-bye.